Welcome back. It is Sunday, February 4th in the NBA. My three best bets are on the way. Today we are joined by a special guest. I believe you know who it is. The Broom is here. A 3-0 sweep yesterday. We certainly will take it. Let's do a victory lap and then dive into Sunday's picks because we got some early games on. We had Stephen Curry's over in points. Yeah, I think 60 will do the trick. He easily crushed that. Maxey, he went under. You think he ended with 23 points on 23 field goal attempts. Beautiful under. We've cashed 4 straight unders. Watch out. And then Dante DiVincenzo, the big ragu, took us home in the third quarter. We certainly appreciate all of them for doing their jobs. Boom, that's a 3-0 sweep on a 7-1 run, but on a good run. I think 5 straight winning days in the NBA. Let's continue that momentum onto Sunday. We have a lot of games on today. We have some early games. We are going to talk about one of the early games, so stay tuned for that, but it is a Sunday. Sundays are normally pretty wonky in the NBA, so I would say play it a little bit careful. I'm only going to have 3 picks, and we're just going to hopefully go 3-0 again, bring out this broom, and boom. We'll do that once again. As always, if you want any sportsbook sign-up bonuses or anything like that, all details are down below in the description. But you guys came in for some picks, so we got some early games. We're going to start with actually the earliest game on the slate. There's 2 3 p.m. Eastern games. First one will be the Magic taking on the Pistons. I really like Cade Cunningham's today. I like his over 27.5 points plus assists. Now, if the line bumps up to 28.5, like it might, I would definitely take a peek at his PRA line. Sometimes when I give out picks, the line I take bumps up, but sometimes his other lines stay the same. So definitely take a peek at the PRA, see what that line's shifting at. But I really like Cade tonight, over 27.5 points plus assists, minus 113 on FanDuel. Only playing this for 1 unit like the next 2 plays. But why do we like Cade as they're back at home taking on the Magic? Now, the Magic obviously are a very good team, but I like this matchup here. And I do want to note Cade Cunningham, as I record this, is probable. So I do expect him to play. Obviously, if he doesn't play, just speed forward to the next pick. And if you're watching this after 3 p.m. Eastern, hopefully Cade's going off for us and starting the day 1-0. But they start, if we look at Cade, like I said, they start at 3. But in 3 games since his return, because he did miss a few weeks due to injury, Cade is at 32, 26, and 27 points plus assists. So getting real close to this line in the last 2. He's had 17, 16, and 17 field goal attempts and averaged 14 potential assists per game. Now, today, Cade's matchup is not great. It is against the Magic. The Magic have been obviously a great story this season. I love rooting for the Magic. I can't watch any of their games because they're all blacked out for me, but the Magic are a very solid defensive team, and what they're really good at is limiting opponent three-pointers. Lucky for us, Cade Cunningham does not rely heavily on the three-pointer like a guy like Bojan Bogdanovic, his teammate, and I don't see the guys off the bench having big days against the Magic because they force you to drive, hit some mid-range shots. I think that's kind of Cade's bread and butter, is knocking down those shots, and he still had the field goal attempts these last 3 games. They've had a couple games where they weren't really close in, and he didn't play the last few minutes, and that could happen here, but I like this matchup for him. We've seen in his last 2 games versus the Orlando Magic, 1 in 2022 and 1 in December. Cade is at 28 and then 27 points plus assists. So this line feels pretty sharp. Now, in that December game, they lost by 32 points. What do you want from him? He did not play a lot in the fourth quarter, and I anticipate him playing a little bit more. The Pistons have been a pretty good team at keeping games close at home, and I don't expect the Magic to blow him out here. And you look at Cunningham on the season, obviously he's been very good. Still coming back from the injury, but this is his 4th game back, so maybe a little bit more minutes coming his way. But Cunningham on the year averaging 22.5 points per game and 7.5 assists per game, good for 30 points plus assists. We only need 28 today. Yeah, on the season, he's over this line in 25 of 39 games, 64% of the time, including 13 of 18. 72% at home. Normally the games at home are pretty competitive, and it's normally typically because of Cade Cunningham playing pretty well. I look at the Magic, a team that does really well against role players. So I don't anticipate, big games from his other teammates. I anticipate the ball being in Cade's hands with 10 seconds on the shot clock saying, we need you to do something for us. And I just think this is a good spot for Cade to get a lot of volume here. Obviously, it is a tougher matchup, but he's also faced some tough matchups in Cleveland and the Clippers the last few, and he still got real close to this line. I think this is a game that Cade goes over. Early start, so you never know. Pistons could win this game outright because that's how Sunday NBA works. I really do like Cade Cunningham, though, tonight. Give me his over. Well, not really tonight. This afternoon, give me his over 27.5 points plus assists. I don't mind the PRA line. I just don't normally like to count on Cade to grab rebs. I think this is a game he could score 25 points. So you also get 20 points and 10 assists too. The potential assists are there. Now my second pick is going to be a guy that is very divisive in this community. I don't really know why. I understand why, but he hasn't, it's not like we're 0-10 betting on him like maybe Klay Thompson. Let's talk about Fred VanVleet of the Houston Rockets, who I like his over 13.5 points, minus 120 on BetMGM. Now, similar to Cade, I like his points here, but you can take it at 14.5, although I do really like his points plus assists at 20.5 more than the 14.5 points. But obviously, we're going to need VanVleet to be aggressive. And the reason people, don't like him is we took him one game against the Sixers, and he shot like 4 times in that game. But then we took him the next game, and he shot like 15 times, easily cleared the over against the Knicks. And I'm hoping that this bet, we know this bet's going to come down to how aggressive is Fred VanVleet. Can I tell him, hey, go out there and shoot 15 times? No, I don't know what he's going to come in here, but I like this matchup for him to have to be aggressive in. It's not a great matchup for any of his teammates. The Rockets are on the road to face the Timberwolves. They could obviously get blown out here. Rockets haven't been the best team on the road, but if they're getting blown out, I really do think Fred VanVleet's going to have to be aggressive. He's one of their leaders, and we saw in their only matchup this season, VanVleet scored 7 points, went 2 for 9 from the field, didn't play a ton of minutes. He did have 8 assists. They lost by 27 points. In his 3 previous games versus Rudy Gobert, though, he had scored 30, 24, and 28 points. Why do I say against Rudy Gobert? Because obviously he's the starting center for the Timberwolves. But not only do him and Cat, what do? They play a lot of drop coverage. So when you got Şengün coming up and setting screens, they're going under all of them, and I think VanVleet will get open opportunities from the three-point line and open opportunities from the mid-range to go shoot the ball. And that's all we're asking for. I don't care if VanVleet goes 1 for 12, 1 for 15. I don't care. I would honestly rather that than him shoot like 6 times, and we're just like, all right, well, he has to go 6 for 6 to get it done. But I look at his other teammates. Jalen Green, been really good the last few weeks, last few games, last 5-7 games. He's got a tough matchup. He probably draws McDaniels. Anthony Edwards, I don't really know if they put him on VanVleet. I would be surprised if they did that. They might just let him guard Dillon Brooks and do his thing there. But I think Şengün's going to draw Gobert. So I think you see VanVleet likely get the Conley matchup. And that's just the matchup he has to be aggressive in. And we've seen VanVleet this season. This line's way too low for him. He's averaging 16.6 points per game. 3 points lower is his line. He's gone over this line in 30 of 46 games, 65%. He's over in 70% of road games, so he's been more aggressive on the road. He's over in 28 of 34, 82%, with 10 or more shots. 10 or more shots is not a very high line for VanVleet when there's games he could shoot 14, 15 times. Let's just hope we get one of those types of games. I just think this is too good of a matchup for him to have to be aggressive in. And it's not a great matchup from that sense, but this is a matchup that I think he has to be aggressive in because it's tough sledding against a very good Timberwolves defense. And we see, look at Fred's other lines. Him to make 2 or more three-pointers, minus 250. Heavily juiced on the over. They think he makes 2 threes. And this season, when he's made 2 or more threes, he's averaged 18.5 points per game. He scored 14 points, going over in 29 of 36 games, 81%. Look, if he's not aggressive tonight, tip to Cap, say thanks, VanVleet. You cost us a unit. But I just think this line's a little bit too low. This is just a guy that I think will have to show up on the road for his team. He's one of the leaders for them. If they lose it by 10, 15 points, wouldn't be surprised if he's a little bit more aggressive. A lot of his teammates off the bench love attacking the rim. Well, that's not great against Rudy Gobert, who's can't been down there. So I think VanVleet's going to have to spray some threes, and let's just hope he's knocking down them. We know, I don't think anyone's questioning Fred VanVleet's talent. It just comes down to how aggressive he is. Worth noting, my useless stat of the day. Fred VanVleet, he averages 17.8 points per game on Sunday, his second highest of the week. So maybe he just turns it up a notch on Sunday, as actually his highest points per game is on Friday, if you are curious, at 18, so 0.2 higher. But Fred, I know you're capable of 14 points. Comes down to if you want to shoot the ball, just please shoot it. I don't care if you miss. At least shoot the ball. That's all we're asking for. Go hit Fred VanVleet. Give me his over 13.5 points. That line should be a 15.5 every game for Fred. Now, my third and final play of the day, we'll go to a team that I honestly hate betting on. I won't sugarcoat it. I do not like betting on this team, and they're facing another team that I also don't like betting on. So, 2 birds with 1 stone. We're going Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat over 29.5 PRAs, points, rebounds, and assists, minus 120 on BetMGM. Now, personally, I was doing my write-up, and I was going to take his points plus rebounds at 25.5, and I was just going to do that. I thought points plus rebounds was pretty good. I don't mind this at 30.5, but I was looking at the points and rebounds, and then I saw his PRA line was only 4 higher. Obviously, 4 assists. It's a tougher matchup against the Clippers, which we'll talk about in a second. But if you look at his potential assists, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I think he has some opportunity for more assists here. And I think there's a chance he gets at least 4, which would make the lines even with this points plus rebounds line. And he could get 5 or 6 assists to give us a better chance of hitting. So let's talk about why do I like Jimmy Butler on Sunday against the Clippers? Now, I don't know what Eric Spoelstra told him or what happened, but obviously the Miami Heat were on a losing streak. They were losing a lot of games in a row, 6 or 7. And I don't know if Eric Spoelstra was like, yo, Jimmy, we need you to turn it on a little bit here. And I think that might have been what happened because the last 4 games, Jimmy Butler, look at his stat lines, 28, 8-4, 26, 8-4, 31, 7-6, and then 24, 9-3. Good for 40, 38, 44, and 36 PRAs. We only need 30 today. Now, I don't know. I know everyone watching this video, if you have ever watched Jimmy Butler, there's no denying the talent. Everyone knows how talented he is. And heck, 29.5 is typically just his points line when you get to the playoffs. However, the Heat need to get to the playoffs, and they don't really probably want to come in with a 9 seed once again, having to win some play-in games. So I think Jimmy Butler's turning it on an extra notch. Worth noting, not an all-star either. So when you look at Jimmy Butler, he doesn't have to worry about participating in the all-star game because that is not, he won't have to do all those festivities. So in about 10 days, Jimmy Butler's going to get a week off. So maybe he's turning it on a little bit extra these last, go into the break with a hot streak so that they can hopefully continue that in the second half of the season. But if you look at over the last 4 games, just when Jimmy Butler's kind of turned it on, he's averaged 10.5 rebound chances per game and 8.5 assist chances. He's been converting on less than 50% of his assist chances. So maybe that goes up. Maybe his teammates make some more shots. But you look at his field goal attempts and free throw attempts combined, 26, 22, 26, and 23. Look, if you're telling me we get 20 plus field goal attempts and free throw attempts combined from Jimmy, I will take this bet any day of the week because we know how talented Jimmy is. It's not like he's shooting a bunch of threes. I said that last time, and he knocked down 3 threes in that game. But I just think this is a spot where he will be aggressive at home, taking on the Clippers. Clippers, obviously, a really good defensive team. We know they have Kawhi Leonard. We know they have Paul George. They have a lot of good defenders. But do you really think Jimmy Butler's afraid of Kawhi Leonard or Paul George? No. If anything, the competition will bring out the best in him. We'll want to be a little bit more aggressive. We know how talented Jimmy Butler is. He could go get into the paint. I'm not afraid of Daniel Tice or Mason Plumlee. He can also get to the free throw line, which he can do 10 or more times per game. And those are, free points for the most part. He's a pretty good free throw shooter. And this is just a matchup that I think he has to be aggressive in. The Clippers, tough defense. They're going to need him to be out there and trying hard. And Jimmy's last 4 games versus the Clippers, obviously don't read too hard into this. He's had 50, 40, 39, and 17 PRAs. The one under he went where he wasn't even close. Shot 2 for 8. Missed a couple of free throws too. So obviously didn't play too well. He can miss all the shots. This is not the greatest matchup for him, but I think this is a good matchup for him to have to be aggressive in, which is all we're asking for Jimmy. Jimmy can play the hardest defense in the league and the NBA history, but if he's aggressive, he's probably going to do his thing. He can play and score and get PRAs, get rebounds, get assists, and all that stuff. So I really do look at Jimmy. He's been playing about 36 minutes a night. Really good for us. I really think this is a good spot to back Jimmy Butler. I think this line's a tad too low. We know Jimmy Butler's capable of, 15, 10, and 5. He could do that, but he could also hit 30 points alone. They're going to need him to be aggressive against a very good Clippers team who could actually have a lead tonight, and they could be beating them, and then we'll probably see Jimmy have to be a little bit more aggressive. So third and final play of the day, Jimmy Butler over 29.5 PRAs. Second pick, as we talked about, Fred VanVleet over 13.5 points. And then my first pick, Cade Cunningham over 27.5 points plus assists. Hopefully Cade starts us off with a 1-0 day, like Tyrese Maxey did yesterday, and then you can see Fred and Jimmy take us home and get us the 3-0 sweep, bring out this bad boy once again. Let's have a wonderful Sunday. Appreciate you guys as always for tuning in. And I will see you guys back again on Monday morning, hopefully with this bad boy joining me again. We'll see you guys in the next one. Let's continue the 7-1 run. If you want to go check out a couple other second channel videos, they're on the screen. You guys have a wonderful Sunday. Great end of your weekend. I'll see you guys back again on Monday with some more picks. See you then. Peace.